Greetings, you all. Happy Friday. How y'all doing today? Today is the day that Venus rules. Venus is the planet of partnership. Venus is the planet of sensuality. Venus is music, dance, art. Venus is the netting that allows us to sustain life. It's the energy that brings pleasure into very challenging life experiences, which what we are living through right now. We're living through a major life shift, a major cosmic shift that most humans don't even know what's happening, but it's happening. And Venus is the energy that gives us an experience of pleasure, right? Like I'm sitting here drinking some coffee. Venus is food. Venus is music. Venus is beauty. And Venus is currently in Gemini. And Venus in Gemini is one of my favorite placements. I have a Gemini moon. But Venus is about relationship. It's about how we relate to the other. It's about, they say it rules Libra, which is marriage and partnership. I personally don't have any interest in that shit at all. The ways that we think about it from our culture. I have spent an enormous amount of time carving out my autonomy so that I am not identifying my happiness through romantic relationships. I find it to be, for me, nauseating. It is boring. I just don't have any real oomph in it. But what I do have energy in is, like, Venus in Gemini is this intellectual flirtation. And one of the things that I do know, because I've spent my life noticing that it's rare that I'm attracted to, that I find a man attractive, you know what I mean? Like, every now and again, I'm like, oh, like, what's attractive beyond how somebody looks? What's attractive beyond how much money you have, right? And to me, smarts. When a man is smart, or even, I'm a heterosexual woman, but I love people who can think beyond what the cultural expectations are. People who can have conversations beyond politics. People who can have real in-depth expressions of themselves where you walk away feeling like, I learned something. Like, that was interesting. Like, oh my goodness, that's the shit that turns me on. Now that's Venus and Gemini. Can we have a deep ass conversation? Can we explore ideas that are beyond what we've been taught and what we think? I mean, I remember I've always been a person who's interested in more. And, so being a woman to me on many levels has been really boring, because women are often just interested in men. Maybe it's changing now, but when I was growing up, I was in it, and all we talked about, we got together and all we talked about was men. And I was doing it too. I was probably the leader in it. I was probably the one talking about men the most. And one day I was in a restaurant, local here in Los Angeles, sitting at the bar, and maybe I was in my early 20s, and there were some women who were sitting next to me, and they were probably in their 40s. And I was eavesdropping, and I literally heard that they sound just like me and my girlfriends. They were in their 40s, but they didn't sound any different than the women who I was hanging out with, and we were in our 20s. And I was like, that will not be fucking me. That is fucking, like, I just was like, what the fuck is going on? And what I realized is that it's the condition. It was in the magazines. It was in the music. It was in everything that was feeding us. So how could we have any new ideas? Because everything that we were ingesting through media, through movies, through music, was all about him and what he was doing, and if he loved me, and if he wanted me, and if I was good enough, and it was ad nauseum. I was just like, what is fucking happening? And so then I would be out with my girlfriends, and we'd be talking about it, and what somebody's husband did, and what somebody's husband didn't do, and somebody was having an affair, and so fucking boring. It's boring. Like, I just was like, what else is there? Like, I'm interested in something real. And so I started paying attention to myself, but it was almost like there was nowhere to go because everybody was in that conversation. So at some point I just started saying, I'm not having that conversation anymore because everybody was in the conversation. So it wasn't like I could leave. It was like, stay here and be yourself. Stay here and demand something different. Stay here and offer a new idea, bitch. Offer something else. Say something else. Oh yeah, all women are, I always say we all are digmatized. We have dick brains. That's literally my narrative. Like, we have dick brains. And the thing has been that I've experienced it in myself. So even though I was aware at that young age that the experience of men was consuming me and all of my friends, I didn't know how to undo it. I didn't know how to be different. And the world around me wasn't offering me anything else other than spirituality. So I went into spirituality. And I went into spiritual community. And what I realized was in spiritual community, there was also this profound obsession with men. You know, I was in a community where there was a man who was a minister. All the women were secretly, subconsciously in love with him. Fawning over him. All the women. He's a black man. The church was filled with, it was 1,000 people in the church, and mostly white women. So there was a dynamic there that I was just like, like, and there was a guruing kind of energy going on. Like he knows, he's perfect, he has it together. And I happened to be the age of, like, around friends with his daughter and friends with, like, his daughter's age children, and so I was aware of what was going on in his marriage. I was aware of the thing, you know what I mean? It was just, and it's like Venus and Gemini. As women, it's very important for us to take responsibility for our subconscious desires. Because what happens as women, when we are unnurtured, unfulfilled, when we are experiencing emotional neglect, we project it out into the reality, and it becomes this interesting sort of cesspool. And Venus in Gemini is this energy that's lighthearted and delighted and delightful and free-spirited and autonomous. And when we are not being fully responsible for ourselves, our desires, you know, because we live in a culture that is highly externally focused, and women's needs are internal. What we need is this internal feeling to be fulfilled, where men need this external thing. Like, men are visually, right? So that's why we have Victoria's Secret building size marketing of naked women, because men are dominant in this culture and they want to see naked women. But women don't necessarily want to see naked women. We have naked bodies. We can go look at ourselves and be like, what we need is a deep feeling of connection, of safety. And when that isn't met, when that deep feeling in women isn't met, our subconscious yearnings begin to permeate in our environments, in our communities. And this is what creates affairs and, all of these shadowy relationships, because women are not being responsible or aware, even conscious of what's really running them. And it puts men in places of power because we are not tending to our own internal garden, meeting our own needs, meeting our own sensual nature, making sure that we feel loved and cared for and seen through our own witnessing. We want somebody else to witness us. We want to be loved by him, chosen by him, seen by him. And that him, it could be even same-sex stuff. It doesn't have to be a him. It's just you want it to come from something externally, and it never does. And when we don't feed ourselves, we project these experiences where community becomes an unsafe space, and we blame men and say they're perpetrators. We blame them and say it's because they are wanting to have sex with everybody, but it's really because we haven't met our own needs, so our unfulfillment is being felt by the masculine, and so then they come and prey upon it. Am I making sense? Does anybody hear what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying, press send the heart. Yes, but our energy cannot be silenced. Echo Quantum. Our energy can't be silenced because energy is alive. It doesn't die. So even if we're not saying anything, the energy is still functioning strong. And the energy is still functioning strong. And because women's energy runs through this 28-day cycle, and we feel it as women, we go up and down and in and out, and now I'm a creative, like the full moon is coming, so I want to express. The new moon is in, so I want to go internal. That energy is invisible. It cannot be, but I understand what you're saying, that the masculine would attempt to suppress it, and the reason in their suppression of it and in the suppression of us and our voices and our understanding, our inability to master our own systems, to understand how we are functioning. Everything has been externalized, and in the externalizing of our desire, of our yearning, of our pleasure, of our, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a right? Like that early experience when you are sexually attracted to someone, before that energy is met, when it's still just a tension, right? That's the energy of women. We carry that tension, that and what they've done, and when I say they, I'm not making us victims at all, because we have participated in this, okay? We have participated in this, okay? We have participated, so we're not victims, but we have been participating for so long, and because it's invisible and we're in our heads, we have learned to deny our feelings, right? It's the pussy purr. Right? It's that. And so we have to become acquainted with this energy of ourselves, and we have to take responsibility for it, because it's fucking us up. I mean, when I've been in community with like in spiritual community, I remember I was in spiritual community, and I don't want to name this community right now just because I don't want to keep mess up, but God bless the purr, right? But we have to dominate the purr rather than the purr dominating us, because this is why birth control disconnects you from your energy, your rhythm of flow. So then you're attracted to things that are not really attractive to you, right? Like your body your body is a compass. Your reproduction is a compass, and it's telling you yes to this one, no to that one. This person doesn't deserve to be procreating with. This person does. And when you are not in touch with these energies, when you don't have access and dominion over yourself, we create the world the way that it is. You know, like I like to say, Trump has a motherfucking mother. We don't, like, everybody's so mad at Trump. Trump had a mother who carried this motherfucker for 9 months. And this is likely a woman who didn't have dominion over herself. And you can tell that she didn't have dominion over herself because she created a man who doesn't honor the feminine. And these men come from women, you guys. This is what I'm saying. We don't understand the nature of our power. These men come from us. We birth them. Do you fucking hear what I'm saying? So, I don't have the answer to that, Echo. So it is important for us to recognize how creation works in the order of things, so that we're not blaming men for things that are actually our responsibility. Men follow women. Men are an addendum to us. So when they are behaving in ways that threatens us, we have to ask ourselves, where is this happening inside of me? Where is this me? Where am I responsible for this? And that is a very mature conversation to have. Because we are the generators. Like I said, Trump has a fucking mother. And you can tell by the way he behaves in the world that he was raised by a woman who didn't have power, who didn't understand her choices, who didn't understand her creative power. And this is what's going on in the world. Women are not autonomous enough to understand the nature of how we work, the nature of how we function, the nature of our desire, of our sensual nature, of our passion. And when we are functioning as children by believing in fantasies and romance unconsciously, because here's the thing, fantasies and romance are real, but when it's connected through something that doesn't have grounding in itself, it creates messes. Because fantasy and romance is a real function of our reality. But if you are not mature and you don't understand how that energy works, you're going to fuck up everything. That's right. History repeats itself. So, today is a Venus Day, and I always ask on Venus Day if you are benefiting from the work that I do here. I encourage you, I invite you to donate. You can do that at my Cash App, which is Cash App, my voice. So my Cash App is $ Monique Ruffin. My Venmo is @ Monique-Ruffin. And my PayPal is Monique C. Ruffin at gmail.com. Thank you for those of you who have already donated. I already got a donation this morning from Devin. Thank you so much, Devin. I appreciate that. And if you want to dive deeper If you want to dive deeper, Echo, if you want to dive deeper, honey, you're going to have to come and do a reading with me and do a coaching session with me, because I don't have enough information. Like, you asking me these questions, I'm just shooting in the dark, and there's just I can't do it without talking to you, understanding, like, it's a real personal thing. So this is not the platform for me to answer deep questions without, it's like going to a doctor and just giving them some general thing. I don't know, honey, I don't know. I really don't know. So if you want some real support, go book a session and I can actually support you. This is not supportive. That's all I'm saying. This is not supportive. So today we are the sun is in Leo, the moon is still in Leo. We just had a new moon in Leo at the 2nd degree, and that energy is inviting us to step more powerfully into the sense of ourselves, your sensory self, right? Like, this reality is a sensory-based reality. It's all based on feeling and sense, and we don't see it that way, but that is what is happening. And we have the command, the power to reprogram our senses. And we must do that now because we are changing ages. And what does that look like? It's different for every person, but I am reprogramming the ancestry that I was born into. I'm born into a black body of a black woman who had a father whose narratives were constantly feeding me information about racism and white people and how I wasn't safe and how this world isn't safe for black people. And that programmed my senses. It created in me a deep sense of fear, a deep sense of when I'm out in the world, I'm not safe. And what does that do? That magnetizes the very experience to me that I believe. It magnetizes threat. It brings into my world. And it doesn't bring it into my world in the ways that my father necessarily, like, it's not like white people are attacking me or anything like that. How it actually showed up for me is the image. It showed up that men were the most, because my father was the person who taught me that energetic violence. Who wasn't safe for me was black men, because that was how my energy got programmed. My father became the threat, and how that showed up is black men were threatening to me. So I would experience that in my reality. And so I have had to take full responsibility for my feelings. And what I've had to do is understand how reality works so that I could reprogram myself according to truth, according to my truth and my code. And that has been just me being deliberate and intentional and devoted and consistent in mulling through my own experience. And so, with the new moon in Leo, what we're shedding is our childhood patterns. We're shedding the ways that we have adopted the codes of our ancestry, of our parents. And we will just repeat it until you catch yourself in the act. Like the code is the cycles just run. That's the nature of the divine. It just runs cycles. So until you wake up in a cycle and say, that's not what I want, you're going to repeat the cycle. It's just how it works. Thank you, Echo Quantum. Thank you so much. Yeah. There are ways that I have, so in my Mercury retrograde, if you go to YouTube, I have a membership there that's like $4. You can ask questions, right? So I have, one of the things that I have done is I have created levels for people to be able to access what I do. You don't have to just do a reading. You can go and do the Mercury retrograde. So there are other ways, right, that are very, I think at the YouTube level, it's $2.99 a month. You know what I mean? So if people want the knowledge, you can find a way to get it. It's just because when I was first doing this work, money was always a thing for me. It was always a thing. And I'm not saying that it's not now. But what I started asking myself was, why do I create this reality where money is not available to me? What is it? Why am I doing that? What is that about? If I create my reality, what is it in me that is getting? What am I getting from not being resourced? And what I learned was that it was amazing, because one of the things that not having money, how it helped me, was that I actually found real solutions. And the reality is that we can access anything that we want on the cheap, or, for nothing. And so I would go do research. I would go learn. If I had a health thing going on, I would go find homeopathic solutions, because, I didn't want to go to the doctor and get insurance, all of this. So I would find other, because the universe is infinite in its wisdom, and there are so many solutions to one thing. There's just not just one way. And so if I didn't have money, then I had to open up to other possibilities. And so not having money gave me this intense curiosity to go learn. And I did that. Another thing that not having money did is that it kept me from learning. It kept me from resourcing other people's wisdom and learning how to resource my own. And it developed my spirituality and my connection to source. Because when I didn't have answers, I would pray about it and say, okay, there's going to be a solution. And a solution would always show up, because I couldn't easily just go pay for shit, right? Sometimes money is a handicap. Sometimes money is a thing that actually keeps us from developing our own muscles, right? And so not having money really served me. So once I started recognizing how it was serving me, then I actually started getting it. But I had developed so much that it was like, oh, I don't have to use money for this anymore. I can use money in different ways now, because I'm not going to be paying people to do things that I could do for myself. And would you come up with, please share? Yes, resourcefulness and gratitude. Yes, absolutely. Resourcefulness, gratitude. I mean, there are countless things. You know what another thing that not having money has done for me? It helps me fucking listen. I can hear. When I tell you I have like a dog sense, I can hear, and I don't mean physical. I can hear the voice of the divine. I can hear the wind talking. Because not having money has kept me still. Because when I have money, I'm out doing this and that and that and that. And what you doing and what you doing? Let's go to a concert. Let's go. And it has me out. But when I don't have money, I have to come in and listen. And then I'm asking the questions. What is this? And I can hear. And when I tell y'all I can hear, I can hear. I hear stuff. Like when I was a little girl, my grandmother was very psychic and intuitive, and she could hear that somebody was pregnant, or she could hear that somebody was about to die. Like my grandmother was really, and now I have that same kind of gift, because when I'm not busy out in the world doing all these things, I can really hear, and I can feel the swell of reality coming up, and I can know, okay, now it's time to be still. Now it's time to move. Now I can speak. Now I'm quiet. Like I can feel all that stuff, because I'm not in my head with like, oh, I got to get this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do that. When my son was little, we used to spend a lot of time at the beach surfing, and one of the things that I really loved is that, we would boogie board out past the cut, and we would be out, just sort of waiting. And before the waves would come, we would feel a swell. And you could see it, but then you would feel it, and I can feel that now in life. I used to feel it in the ocean, but now I can feel the swell in life. But that's because I have not been out too busy. I literally And so lately, all this new energy is coming in, and Mercury's retrograde. I can feel my energy rising. And Spirit is saying, let it rise, let it rise. Don't overgive. Let it fully come in. Let it fully come. And you'll know when to take action. But if I had money, I would be out shop. I would be all in my head. And this is the power of the feminine. This is what I teach in Daughters of the 13 Moons. Me and Gabrielle teach this. Getting out of your head and being able to feel the energy, and get still enough so you know, like, oh, like my grandmother used to be like, somebody is about to die. I mean, it's that intense. Somebody's gonna die. Somebody's getting pregnant. Somebody is, I mean, that is what our power is like. But when we're out here running the streets and thinking about all these niggas, and I mean, I'm being whatever, but when we're really out in our heads too much, you won't be able to sense that. You got to be in your body to feel that. You have to be in your body to feel that. And most of us are not in our bodies. And that's why, you know, let me tell y'all, when I was first starting to really learn this work, I come upon a woman. I come upon a woman. I'm not going to say her name right now because I don't want her name out. I come upon a woman that was so powerful. Oh man, she was so powerful. And one time my aunt went to see her. She was, dare I use language like psychic, or she was beyond that. She was beyond that, okay? And my aunt went to see her, and she was pregnant. My aunt was pregnant, and my aunt did not want to have a baby. She was not ready to be pregnant. This woman closed her eyes, went beyond the veil in consciousness, and my aunt's period started. And my aunt's period started. She went into the other dimension and moved that energy of that fetus coming in, and my aunt's period started almost on the fucking spot. This is normal, but we are so in our heads, we're so distracted that we don't understand our power. We don't understand our power. This is what I'm saying is nothing. But we're so distracted, that's like, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. And that is what I'm talking about. Getting still enough to have full autonomy over yourself so that you can, because your power as women is in the invisible. That's where your power is. But you're in your head. You're in the what he said and what they did and how much and what he got. And so because you're there, you don't deserve. Because you're there, you don't deserve to have access to what it is that's yours. You don't even deserve it. Because you're not honoring it, you're not watering it, you're not nurturing it, you're not cultivating it, you don't value it. And then when you get it, you want to just pass it over to somebody else or share it, or you don't even know how it functions. So this is what we're up to as women. All right, you all. I just said a lot. I just said a lot. But the last thing that I'm going to say is reality is really changing. Reality is really changing. And let me say that there are always ways. I am not somebody who's a doomsday sayer. Like, there are always ways if a person is sincere and intentional with their desire to know themselves as who they really are. The universe is benevolent, okay? The universe is benevolent. I know that with all of myself. And we are at a time right now that is critical. Both things are true. We're at a time right now that is critical. We're at a rubber hits the road moment. We're at a shit or get off the pot moment. That is where we are. And this is an opportunity where the energy is still pretty open and expanded, and you can get in. And if you don't, that's okay. That is okay. But if you want to, you can. It is available. And the entry point is your own heart, your own consciousness, your own body, your own mind, your own emotions. That is the entry point. It is through you. And why I'm here is because I happen to know that people are going in every direction but within themselves. That's my experience. People are going in every direction within themselves. So I am here to say it, to say that this is the only way. The only way is inside. The only way is inside. I create tools so that people can access this energy. I create tools for it, and I have done the work. And so this is why I offer the tools. I encourage you, if you have not picked up the Mercury Retrograde Workbook, go to my Linktree and pick up the Mercury Retrograde Workbook. And go get on my email list, because the entry points are through the planets. The entry points are through the planets, and the planets are in you. They're not out there. They're inside of you. And so when these planets go retrograde, it's like a door opens up. And when the planets are retrograde, you can move through a portal more quickly. You can get from point A to B or D or C more quickly because of the retrograde. That is the benefit of the retrogrades. That is what they offer. And so right now, Mercury is retrograde. Right now, Pluto is retrograde. Right now, Saturn is retrograde. So Pluto retrograde is an ability to access your power through transformation. It is not an easy path. I do not have a workbook for it. Maybe I'll create one. I don't know. Y'all ain't really ready for that. Y'all, it's really intense. Saturn retrograde, it's intense. I have a workbook for it, and you are ready for it, and you can get it in my Linktree. The Saturn Retrograde Workbook, it is to assist you in transmuting your karma around your identity. The ways that I'm talking about women having no idea who they are and, giving all their power, that's Saturn. That's Saturn retrograde right there. That's karmic. And she said they ain't ready for Pluto. And then Mercury is the easiest of them. It's the mind. It's not easy to transform the mind. It's getting easier. It's getting easier. But we have 3 Mercury retrogrades a year, which means we get 3 opportunities a year to work on these portals, this mind portal. And the mind is, we live in a mental reality. This is a mental reality. Everything here that we see comes out of somebody's mind. I'm sitting in this building, somebody's mind designed this, right? So when you understand your mind and your ability to create reality, you can begin to think in alignment with what you're creating and get out of alignment with the bullshit that you don't want to create, because it's happening anyway. It's happening whether you fucking want it to or like it or not. It's the nature of reality. So you want to get in command of the thing that's happening anyway through you. You just want to command it. You want to say, oh, I don't want to give it to that. I want to give it to this, because it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. So if you're going to give it, as a woman, if you're going to give it over to a man, at least understand what you're giving to him. Understand, I'm giving this man the key to creation. That's what you're doing. You're giving him the key to creation. And know that that's what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to give him the key to creation. So then if he creates something you don't want, you can know, like, well, I gave him the key to creation, and he created what he wanted with it and not what I wanted with it, because you gave it. Okay. But at least you can be responsible for that. Or you can go like, I want to, when I lay down, when I die, when I cross to the other path, I want to know that I had my life and my mind and my body and my choices and my reality, and I used it the way I fucking wanted to use it. I used it on my behalf, not on behalf of anyone else, not a minister, not a president, not a boyfriend, not a husband, not a fucking child. I used it the way I wanted to use it. And if I fuck it up, it's mine to fuck up. And if I make it great, it's mine to make great. But I'm not gonna leave this motherfucker thinking, oh, I gave my power away and he did this and he, because that's my fucking responsibility. I ain't doing it. I am not doing it. This is my life. I chose to come to the parents that I came through. I chose to be born. Let me tell you, when I was born in 1968, abortions were still illegal. Abortions were still illegal, right? I was like, I got to get in this motherfucker when they don't have a chance to kill me. Because my mother was on her, my mother was trying to, my mother, the story they tell me is that my mother was a prostitute. My father was her pimp. And my mother got pregnant. And my father, the story, this is how I see it in my mind. It's almost like I feel like I was on the other side trying to get in. And my mother told my father she was pregnant. She was 17, she was like 16 years old. She had me when she was 17. And my father was 23 or 25, 24, you know, and she told him she was pregnant. And he said, I'm going to find somebody to give you an abortion because abortions were illegal. They were illegal. So he leaves to go find somebody. And in his departure, he had a warrant out for his arrest. Like, who knows what it was? It could have been a parking ticket for all I know. Like, he had a warrant out for his arrest. And I'm sure it wasn't a parking ticket because back in the day, that's not what they had warrants out for arrest for. And when he left, he got arrested and went to jail. And because he got arrested, my mother couldn't find anybody to give her an abortion. So I was born because my father left the house to go find somebody to give her an abortion and got arrested, so she couldn't have an abortion. So I'm here. I'm here. And I'm here to stay, motherfuckers. I'm here, right? And so I'm really clear that I'm here because I was meant to be here. I'm here because I was meant to be here. And what are we? We're all meant to be here. We're all meant to be here. And so, you know, you got to understand the nature of your purpose, what you're up to, so that you take command. This energy that's in your body is a divine call. We are living through a time on the planet where consciousness is shifting. And it's shifting from an external focus to an internal focus. The people who have access to the internal focus are women. Women have access to the internal focus. What is the proof of that? That we build babies in our bodies. That means that we have internal power. We build a baby in our body. Men cannot build a baby in their body. If they were going to build something, they have to build it in the external world. They build buildings. We build people. But the world is shifting from the external to the internal. So the people who have the power of the internal are women. And you have to determine how you're going to use that power. What are you doing with it? How are you using it? How is it? And are you conscious of it? Are you aware of it? Every month it comes and tells you, knock, 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 I'm here. What do you want to do? Knock, tick, tick. That's every single month. Every single month. That's your power. In your ovaries, releasing eggs, taking the sperm. That's power. That is generative power. That is the power that they have tricked us out of so that we don't understand. And I don't mean a they like they're bad. I mean a they like they're fighting for their lives. Like, like babies crying a lot before they go to sleep because it's just fighting for its life. So the energy, the masculine has just been fighting for its life so that it won't, but the cycle is over with. The fact that I'm here saying it, it means it's over with, because I'm sure I'm not the only person saying it. I'm not. There are others, and because I'm saying it, others are saying it, we're all saying it, and now we're going to begin to experience it. I'm asking myself more questions. I'm becoming more autonomous. You are going to become more autonomous. You're going to question right? And then we're going to take dominion over ourselves. We're just taking dominion over ourselves. We're just saying, this is mine, and I'm going to use it the way I want to use it. I might choose to share it with you. or I might not. But it's my choice. It's my choice. It's my choice. Right. You know? And you get to choose. It's yours. It's yours. It's your right to choose. You can choose to have children. You can choose to be married. You can choose that or not. You have a choice. You have a choice. And that's the thing that Gemini, the Venus in Gemini knows. She's like, oh, I'm like a bee. She's like, oh, look at this flower, and look at this flower, and look at this one, and look at that one. And, ooh, that was yummy, and this one is delicious. And, ooh, my God, I got a little drunk off of that one. Everything is it's all yours. And so you get to choose it all. You don't have to lock yourself into anything. Keep your fucking freedom until you decide, oh, I'm going to settle down for a little while because I want to. Not because I have to, not because I'm old, not because they said so, because I want it. Because love based on want actually it works. But love based on need doesn't work. If you're doing it because you need to, it's fucked. Anything you're doing out of need is because it's fucked up. It's not honest. But you do it because you want to do it. I'm choosing this. This is my choice. I want this. I want to have 5 kids. I want that. I want that. I'm not doing that because, oh, I have a partner who's taking care of the bills. And no. This is all, I'm doing this because I want it. I desire it. All right, you all. Peace and blessings. If you guys want to donate, you can donate at my Cash App, which is $Monique Ruffin, or Venmo @Monique C. Ruffin. Venmo @Monique-Ruffin, PayPal, MoniqueCRuffin@gmail.com. And thank y'all. I love y'all so very much. Go into my link tree and purchase the Mercury Retrograde Workbook. Purchase the Saturn Retrograde Workbook. There might be a Venus Retrograde Workbook in there too. I'm not really sure. It might be. If there is, you can get that too. The Venus Workbook is not retrograde. It's just about literally embodying that Venetian energy and the work and the rituals that come with that. Or go to my website, healwithmoonmama.com, and book your sessions. Whatever it is. All right. Love y'all. Bye.